How's it going, guys? Brett Medlock here today with Brett Larson once again. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be back.
Yes. So Nintendo's 2020 is kind of a mystery right now. We don't know a lot of stuff they have planned. We know Paper Mario's coming, but outside of that, we don't really have any idea what they're doing. So I wanted to do a list of possibilities, and I wanted to rank them from 1 to 10, a 10 being they're definitely going to happen, and a 1 being they're definitely not going to happen. And we're going to go down this list of possibilities and talk about each one of them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. First topic, Bayonetta 3. Do you think it's coming out this year? This game got announced way back at the Game Awards of was it 18 or 2017? It was a while ago.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah, I kind of should have looked that up beforehand, but it was one of them years, and it's been a long time, and we haven't heard anything on that game. Like, we know that they're still working on it. They keep saying, yeah, it's in development, but we haven't seen anything from it in a long time. And what's crazy is they actually announced Astral Chain after Bayonetta 3, and it already came out, and we still haven't heard anything from Bayonetta 3 ever since then.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this game, but is it coming this year? My guess is yes, and I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on this. In fact, this is, of the list we're going to go through, I think maybe the safest bet for me. Like you said, they've talked about it for so long. The release date's been up in the air for some time now. I think it's going to launch in the right before holiday or during holiday window.
Yeah.
We know that Nintendo has been really, really quiet on their front up to this point this year. A couple reasons for that. Number one, COVID kind of pushed off their direct they were planning on doing, their announcements they were planning on doing, and that's understandable. And the other thing is we're in the middle of Sony and Microsoft's console launch year, and everyone's kind of going, is Nintendo just going to play this quiet and just kind of let them do their thing, or are they going to drop a couple major things and really get a part of this conversation? And I think Bayonetta 3, to me, feels like the safest bet for them to jump into the conversation. I'm going to give it a 9.
A 9, okay, yeah, I think Bayonetta 3 is coming. I have a feeling it'll be mid to late October, but you don't have to give me a date. I'm just gonna put that on record.
All right.
So next up, there have been rumors of a Super Mario collection coming, and this means Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario 64 are coming to Nintendo Switch. In what way, we don't really know. Are they just going to be ports that are, I don't know, kind of just up-resed and remastered to HD? Or are they actually going to go in and tinker with the gameplay, make them feel more modern, and enhance the graphics to something that looks like it would come out of 2020, you know what I mean?
I hope so badly that this happens, and we know it's probably going to happen, but I hope they give it kind of like the Crash Insane Trilogy treatment, where they not only give it that pretty coat of paint, but like you said, they make it more modernized and enhance the gameplay a little bit.
Yes.
I want so badly to go back and play some of these games. That would be huge for them to just drop a Mario collection right during the middle of these console launches, because Switch owners would just eat that up.
Definitely, dude. Especially if it's all 4 of those games, and maybe even more. There were some rumors of like Super Mario 3D World being in there as well. And that would just be an amazing package. I would spend $100 on that package.
Oh my, easily.
All his games aren't the same, so like it's not like you're getting the same experience every time. It's not like a Call of Duty situation where I can see that argument. I do think they're all different in their own way. But like Call of Duty is largely the same. The Mario games, they really shake things up every time, so they're always really exciting.
They do. They really do. They have a way of making every Mario feel unique.
Yeah, so with the Mario Galaxy games, I have a feeling they're just going to up-res them, and that's perfectly fine because those games, graphically, from an artistic direction, they still look great in HD. If you like look on YouTube, like the emulations of those games just up-resed to like 1080p, 60 frames per second, they still look really good.
Yeah.
So I think that's all they really need to do to those games. With Super Mario 64, I would love like a Crash Insane Trilogy like makeover, like you said. We still have a lot more to go over, so what do you rank this out of 10? Is it going to happen, yes or no?
I'm going to give that 7. I think it's a very good possibility, especially because of the leak. I also did see today that, and we never know if these are real, apparently there was an Amazon leak of a Mario collection and then it was taken down, so who knows.
Wow, okay, yeah, so that's pretty awesome. I'm going to give it an 8, just like my other one. I think it's going to happen, and I'm really excited because we need more Mario on Switch. We always need more Mario.
Absolutely.
Next up, the N64 games. Are they coming to Nintendo Switch Online, the subscription? Do you think it's going to happen?
I hope so, man. This is one of those things where I feel like every time I go to the eShop, I'm always thinking, I wish that they would do kind of like what PlayStation did with like the PS1 classics, where it was really accessible to play some of those games. And I know that there's some you can play right now, but there's so many games that I would just love to go back and play again and jump back into. I really hope this happens. I don't know as far as how likely it is. I'm gonna give that a 6 just because I don't know.
Yeah, as much as I want it to happen, I don't think it's going to happen this year, which is what we're talking about. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 10. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that.
Next up, do you think Nintendo will reveal a new IP this year? We know that they had already done ARMS, which is their newest one, and before that it was Splatoon. I'm talking about major IPs. There might have been a few smaller ones here and there. But in terms of major new IPs, do you think there's going to be one announced this year?
We all know what Nintendo brings to the table. They've got the Marios, the Zeldas. They've all got the same kind of sort of feel and style to all of them, kind of like some of them are like the mascot-y kind of feel to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. They've got some incredible games, and the Nintendo pedigree is like second to none. But I would love so much if they just went a totally different direction and tried something new. Can you imagine if they took Nintendo's pedigree and applied it to a game like a full-on Uncharted or like a full-on Tomb Raider, or possibly even something maybe a little bit more mature? That would be incredible.
Yeah, it seems like they typically always partner with like a third-party company and then have them do it. They don't usually do like titles like that under their own wing, but I think that would be awesome. Like obviously they don't have the same power as the other guys on the market, so like having this big Uncharted, like realistic looking game isn't really plausible. But I think if they give it their own little twist and they use like an artistic art direction instead of doing like realism, I think they could still give us like an Uncharted-like game in that vein. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know, I think you're 100% right. I don't think that they're ever going to aim for graphically like a The Last of Us or a God of War or a Gears of War, anything like that. But just something a little bit different outside of off the beaten path of what Nintendo normally does. I would be so interested because I think, you know, obviously they have these great ideas and these great creators. I'd like to see them try something just a little bit different. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, at least Metroid Prime 4 is still on the way, and Retro Studios has been hiring some really talented and well-known like people out of the industry, so that's exciting.
Absolutely.
That wasn't on our list. We'll do a quick one, actually. Metroid Prime 4, 1 out of 10. Do you think we're going to see it this year?
I don't think we're going to see Metroid Prime. It seems like the last time we've heard about it, it was kind of in development hell, or it was...
They rebooted development with Retro.
Yeah, they got to a certain point, and then they rebooted it and kind of scrapped what they had and started over. In fact, I think we're a couple years from seeing anything else on that.
Do you think we'll see any teas this year?
That's a very good possibility.
Yeah.
Sometimes just to stay relevant in the industry, all you need to do is just drop a little teaser or a little trailer, and then it gets people buzzing about it and people hyped up about it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's something I could imagine at Jeff Keighley's Game Awards.
No question. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, as far as will the game come out, I'm going to give that a 0. Will a teaser or a trailer come out? I'm going to give that an 8. That's a very real possibility.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that. I think we might see a tease, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.
Awesome.
Okay, so back to a new IP. A 1 from 10. Do you think we're going to get an announcement of a new IP this year?
As much as I want this and it's wishful thinking, I don't see it happening. What I want is a through the roof 10, but realistically, I'm going to say a 5. I just don't see it happening this year.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. But you never know, maybe they'll surprise us. Now, on to the next one. This one is kind of my pie in the sky that I would love to happen, but it's probably not going to happen at all. But I could picture it. Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4 fame gets announced for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Man, I know you would love this one.
Dude, okay, so Resident Evil 4 started on GameCube as like the killer app for the console at that time.
Yes.
I mean, there's still tons of killer apps.
Yes.
But like it was amazing, and Leon has just become like a fan favorite over the years. So I could totally picture him joining Smash. He'd have like a rocket launcher, and like he does like his suplex moves that he does from the game. It's hilarious, but dude, I think it would work.
Yeah, it really would work. And going back to what you were saying, I saw a meme yesterday, of all things, that there was a picture of a GameCube, and it said, what game comes to mind when you see this picture? And for me, it's Resident Evil 4, no question. So, it's got that history with Nintendo. Also, recently, Nintendo kind of just did an all-out sale on all Resident Evil games that they were able to put on the Switch.
Yeah.
So that could kind of line up with Leon being in Smash. Who knows?
Dude, I would literally just cry myself to sleep.
I know you would. As soon as I saw this on the list of what we were going to talk about, I thought that Brett he would be the happiest person alive if that happened.
And if they did do it, they would have to get either the original VA from Resident Evil 4 or a Matthew Mercer who took over after Resident Evil 4. I don't want the new guy from RE2 Remake. Please no.
You got to keep that continuity. It's, at least, like you said, going back to the GameCube, keep that continuity going with the voice acting.
They're usually pretty good with that in Smash.
Yeah, with Smash, yes. With Resident Evil, sometimes they do these head-scratching things where they'll be very consistent, and then all of a sudden they'll change a character model or a voice actor, and you're going, what? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, that's annoying.
I think it would be really cool. I think it would make sense. I don't think it'll happen. I'm going to give it a 4.
I'm going to give it a 6. I do have hope that it might happen because I think he's a really good fit, and he's different from a lot of the ones that we've gotten recently.
It'd be a perfect fit.
Okay, next up, Waluigi. Now, he's a trophy, he's like an assist trophy in the game, so he's technically already a part of the game. But I don't believe, like, any type of rules. I think if Sakurai wants to bring Waluigi from the trophies and make him into a playable character, I think he's going to do it. I don't think he really cares. So I think Waluigi might get announced as a playable character in Smash.
All right, so I have a question for you regarding this. Brett, why does Nintendo not love Waluigi?
Dude, I don't know. He's like the only one that doesn't have his own game. He always gets crapped on.
Clearly, Waluigi is a man of the people. He's the people's champion. People are begging for him to be in this game. And, I mean, all jokes aside, I even saw a petition recently where people were signing to bring Waluigi to Smash Ultimate. So
it's become a meme nowadays.
It has. It's become like one of those cultural icon things where like it's almost a joke, but in a non-joking way, people want to see Waluigi in this game. I think this is going to happen. I think they're paying attention to this. But then again, they haven't shown him love up until now, so who knows? But I'm going to give this an 8. I think they're paying attention.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7, and I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, and there's going to be like videos of people reacting to it and freaking out, and it's Waluigi, so it's going to make it so funny.
Oh, people will lose their minds.
But anyway, on to the next one. Do you think we're going to see another Switch model this year? This doesn't mean that it needs to be a super powerful Switch. It doesn't mean like really anything specifically. Do you just think we're going to see another model?
I don't think we're going to see another model in terms of it launching. I think for them to kind of keep up with the Joneses, if you will, they may show a peek of what they're working on. I mean, there's all these talks of, and this isn't the official name, but like a Switch Pro. And what that means, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think people would lose their minds if they knew that they're working on either like a Pro version to the Switch, or even I've heard a Switch 2. We don't know. I think they either, like I said, I don't think the console comes out, but I think they reveal that they're working on it. I'm going to give that a 9.
On to the next one. Do you think we're going to see Mario Kart 9 this year? Mario Kart is one of the most popular Nintendo IPs. Mario Kart 8 has been like one of the best-selling Switch games, maybe the best-selling. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's in the top 3. It's in the top 3 for sales.
It's done incredibly well across Wii U and Switch, even though it's technically like the same game as the Wii U version. They just added a couple things. And I think we might see Mario Kart 9 this year, with it being Mario's 35th anniversary. I don't think they have a mainline game prepared, and I think that's why they're doing the collection at the beginning of the year. Well, not the beginning, but in a few months I think that's going to be happening. And then at the end of the year, that'll be their big holiday game.
I'm with you on that too. And man, this is another one of those that I'm really, really crossing my fingers hoping it happens. It's been more than long enough for a full-blown sequel to the Mario Kart series. So I'm going to give this one a 9.
Mario Kart 9, a 9. I'm going to give it a 7. And I think it is going to happen, but I'm not super positive, but I think it is going to happen.
Well, 7's in the high range, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. If this next one happens at the end of this year, whenever the Xbox Series X and the PS5 launch, this could actually overshadow the competition, because it is going to be one of the biggest games on Switch, which is Breath of the Wild, the sequel. We don't really have a name yet, but do you think it's coming this year?
I'm so torn on this because this is, of everything we've talked about, this is the top of the list. This is like the one that, like we said, if Nintendo really wants to compete this year and stay in the conversation, this is their big hitter. This is their big one. If they brought this to the table, like you said, all of a sudden conversations are switched and focus is switched onto Nintendo because Breath of the Wild 2 would be massive.
Yeah. Now, from a financial standpoint, Mario Kart is a way bigger series than Zelda, but I feel like Breath of the Wild, from a hardcore gamer standpoint, would be a lot, I don't know, bigger, but it's not technically bigger, but I don't know. It's hard to explain, you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. As far as, fiscally and financially, Mario Kart, because it's more accessible for children and stuff, probably is going to get bought more. But as far as like just a hype level from gamers and people who are, like you said, the hardcore gamers, Breath of the Wild 2 is massive. Now, as far as what I think, this is where I'm not sure. I think it's been long enough that it's very possible, especially if they're planning on using the same assets, graphics, and all that kind of stuff. And it's been a few years. I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
But with a game of this scale, I think we would have heard something by now. Unfortunately, I'm going to give it a 5, but man, I hope they do it.
Okay, so I think that it might happen. I'm going to give it a 5 as well, but I honestly think if it did, this would be great for Nintendo. And like you were saying, if they were reusing the same assets from Breath of the Wild, I don't think they're going to technically reuse the same world. But I don't know, maybe if they can change it enough to make it feel like a new experience, I think that they could get away with it. And especially if they add like new temples and stuff inside of that world, I think that'd be fine. And I think if they did that, then this game could probably be prepped for this year. I don't think it's out of the question.
It is a very, very possible, but I would personally have thought that they would have been hyping this up. The marketing would have been through the roof by now if it was going to happen in the next few months.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said earlier, Nintendo is known for kind of doing these random things. So, man, fingers crossed. I would be ecstatic if Breath of the Wild 2 came out this year.
It would just be an even more jam-packed year, especially holiday season, if Nintendo came out with the big guns. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, I think one thing is for certain, is that we have no idea what Nintendo's going to do because they're unpredictable.
Yes, they are.
And that's pretty much all we have to say today. Thanks a lot for hanging out, Brett.
Always a pleasure.
And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. And if you're feeling really generous, you can go over and hit that subscribe button and maybe even that notifications bell. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Bye.